Hello everyone, this is Akash Chauhan again, and in our previous lecture, actually we were discussing about the realistic modeling of a language, or the solution that can solve the problem of the structural language. Okay, so the last time the video is the lecture became quite lengthy, so I had to break the lecture in two parts. So we are continuing in the continuation of the last lecture. So in today's lecture, we will cover about the realistic view of a language, or more precisely, I would say the realistic modeling of a language. How we can develop a language in a realistic way, so the structural issue would not be there. Okay, so let's without any further ado, let's start our lecture.
So the realistic module would be before understanding the solution of this structural programming. Let's understand what is the realistic view of understanding the data and the function in real life. Okay, so let's take an example. Okay, let's see. This is me. Okay, so I have some properties. Okay, I have legs, I have hands, I have head. I can't say heads. I have eyes. Okay, and I think this would be is enough. Okay, so these are probably would be the attributes I have. Okay, these are the attributes, and with all those hands, what I can do, I can make things. With those legs, I can jump, right? I cannot fly, right? This wouldn't be there. What I can do, I can see things, or I can watch movies. I can speak. Okay, so this is about me, right? So we say what I have in a what to say in a programming language. We say all these things as an attribute. Attribute of an object. Okay, so let's consider me as an object. Okay, and I have some attributes, and these are all the things I can do. So this is about my function I can perform, or I would say these are my behavior. So if you are able to see, this is quite realistic, right? Every object in the world, right? This is me, but every object you can consider it is a car. Car has some different kind of attributes, like the steering wheel, the tires, the rear view mirror, the front view mirror. These are the attributes of that object, and that object can perform some task. So those tasks would become the functions or the behavior of that object. Okay, so this is quite realistic. Instead of having functions or the structure, it's an instruction, then the well-defined functions would create well-defined instruction would create a function, and then the well-defined functions would create file. This is quite meaningless in terms of realistic view, right? So in realistic view, every object has attributes, okay, and every object has some behavior. Okay, so how this one thing can resolve this particular issue, this is the structural issue, right? If we make change in one variable, it is affecting the whole structure. But in that case, how it is going to resolve our issue, let's understand. It is not that easy to understand, but I'll try my best to make it very simple. So having any object has some attributes and some behavior. Okay, so let's say I have everyone has two hands and legs, let's say, but let's say I have injured my one leg, and I have only right now one leg. Okay, so it means every object has different kind of attributes. Maybe I'm crazy, my eyes are not well. So every human, let's say this is about the human being, right? So every human being has different attributes, and with all those attributes, they have different behavior. So all those attributes definitely would be affecting the behavior of that object. It means, let's say if I don't have, if I have only L1, only one leg, it means the way I will jump or walk, okay, these two functions would be very different than the other objects. Okay, it means, let's say this is Ram, uh, this is Shyam, and let's say this is somewhere, let me draw myself, this is me, uh, this is me with one leg. Okay, if you pay little attention on this fact, this is 1, 2, 3, all these objects has the similar attributes, legs, heads, eyes, hands, but the value of those attributes are different. Okay, this guy has proper two legs, I have only one leg, this also have two legs, this guy has also two legs. It means even though all the objects having the same attributes, but the value would be different. So the oops approach oops approach says that you can club all the objects into one group having the same attribute or the characteristics. Okay, let me rephrase or rewind again what I have just spoken. Uh, what is the definition of a group? Okay, oops provides a mechanism where it suggests that it would always be better if you can club or group all similar kind of object into one group having the same attribute. Maybe they have different values, like this guy has two legs, this also has two legs, but I have only one leg, the poor guy, right? So oops suggests that if you can club all the object into just one group having same attribute and might have different values, the oops says this concept is called class. Okay, let me write it. Class. So class definition is, it is the combination of object having the same attribute but might have different values of those attributes. It means so far we understood that these are objects, and all, if we club the similar kind of attributes objects into one group, it is called class. So oops provides us, if we can write few things in, I think we are able to write now few things. Characteristics of C++ is it provides objects, and if we can club all those having the similar attributes in one group, it is called class. Class is a collection of objects having similar attributes, right? Okay, so where it is. Okay, so it means we are clear that the object would be there and we club all the objects having the similar quality and we can club them into a class. So oops based approach is, first you need to decide the object, not the function, instructions, or the file, or the module, or the structure, like we have discussed in the Pascal and the C or the COBOL earlier. It suggests the very ground you are going to build. You first identify the object. You need to build a class. Okay, so if you have developed a class, it would be realistic because every object has some, attributes, and they have some functions. So the class would be, if we can say, class would be a set of attribute and the behavior. So class is nothing but the set of attributes and the behavior. And if we can create an object out of that class having different properties, even though having the similar attributes, this would be called object. Okay, so class is nothing but the combination of attributes and the behavior. But one good important thing you must understand that all the attributes, the value of attributes would change the functionality of your behavior. If you have one leg, the way you walk would be different than the guy who has two legs, right? So your behavior would always be affected according to your attributes. So OOPS suggests that it is always great to combine the attribute with the functionality. So in that case, if we have done the same, it means you are saying don't have this global variable in a file where there is no relation to that. It says club all the functions. Let's say f1 and f2 is the quality of a human, and let's say f3 and f4 has the quality of a cat. Then why to mix all these things? We can club f1 and f2 and put in a human class, right? And if we can club f3 and f4, we can club all those functions into the cat class. And how it will resolve this structural issue? If you want to make change in that, okay, let's say if we want to make change in G2, v2 variable. So v2 variable definitely would be related to human only, and let's say v3 variable would only be related to cat only. So if we make change in the v2, then it means the little change would be needed because we have clubbed a similar kind of functions, or we can optimize all these things and oops as well. If we have you can understand that if we can resolve this issue, then we can also resolve that issue. We will understand later on that if you want to make change in a variable, then how easy it would be in oops or the C++. Okay, there are solutions, a lot of solutions, but this problem has resolved that it is not a structure based, it is attribute based. You must always understand this thing, that it is attribute based, because we are clubbing all the object having the similar qualities. We are not intent to club cat with the human. Okay, so in that case, human is it is always plural, so human is the class. So if we want to create a different object having the different values of similar attributes, it would create a different object. Ram would be having different qualities, but the attribute of similar kind of objects would always be same. It has two legs, but definitely leg is the quality of being human, or the characteristics of being human, or the attribute of being human. I might have the different value of that, but this is the way how we can resolve the structural issue, because now the data is irrelevant. We are clubbing the data, the global data, with the local data or the local functions if they have some similarity or the relativity. We are not supposed to make a class where we have data of cat, attribute of cat, and behavior of a human being. This would be little fuzzy and quite funny, because the way of designing a class is different. Okay, so I think now you are clear that how to break this structure. We need to break this structure to resolve this issue. Okay, so OOPS provides this mechanism of object and class. Okay, and these are the characteristics of that. So the limitations, so the need of it is to break the structure, break the issue with structural programming or procedural language. So C++ is the language, or the OOPS based language. Any language, maybe Java, okay, etc. Any language having the OOPS quality will break this structure issue with the previous language, like we have C, Pascal. Okay, they are all structural languages or procedural languages. Okay, so the OOPS will break this thing. Okay, another thing I should mention this in this structure, it is very hard to conceptuate. It means where v3 is, how can I be sure about the v3 is related to f1 that if there is no relativity between all these variables and functions. If we talk about class, we are saying that If I can walk, okay, if I can jump, I must have legs, okay, then only I can jump, right? So there is a relativity between the attribute and the behavior, but in that scenario we can't relate things, right? So it is very hard to conceptuate, so it is difficult. Always remember this thing, it is difficult to conceptuate attribute and the behavior. Okay, so these are the major limitations of, you know, uh, of the procedural or the structural language programming, and oops is the way to break this issue. But C++ characteristics are not just it provides object and class to break the structure, but there are many things. So let's discuss those one by one. Let's talk about that. Okay, so okay, so we have discussed about object and class. Let's discuss one important thing. Let's say we have this function of walk, this function walk, okay. So for that walk, it probably to write a single logic would not be great. Let's say if a person has two legs and one has only one leg, okay, so the way a person would walk with two legs would be different, okay, and the way a person would walk with one leg would be different. It means the logic for both of the attribute would always be different. It means, if I simplify things, it means it would always be great, right, if we can have a walk function with let's say we say is a character L1, and we also have a function walk character L1 and character L2. It means it is saying that you have to perform some logic, or let's say you have to walk with only one leg. The logic would be different, right? And if you have two legs, it means the logic of walking with two legs would be different. There is a difference, right? So we must have two different functions for that. So, and if you pay attention, the name of the function is same, but the parameters of the functions are different. So this quality of any language is called polymorphism. Okay. So the correct another characteristics of let me choose the correct. So this is called polymorphism or overloading. Overloading means what is the meaning of overloading? It means we are saying we are going to use the name of same we are going to use the name as same for both the functions but having the different behavior. So we don't need to worry about where to find the different function. We simply type the name of the function. We don't need to find, because we have done our programming in such a way that if you pass one variable, it will call this function, right? And if we call the same method with two variables, it will call this method. So this is the characteristics of a the programming is object we are clear, the classes we are clear, and the polymorphism and the overloading. Okay. Let's understand other aspects of C++ characteristics as well. I hope you don't need to remember anything. If in my understanding, if you are good at the fundamentals, that then you don't need to remember anything. You don't need to memorize anything for the very long period of time. You just need to spend enough time on the fundamentals of that language. That is all what you need. Okay. Let me have a look to find out another characteristic. Okay, so let's say the same function. Okay, So Ram is saying that they both have two legs. Okay, Ram has two legs, Shyam has two legs, but Ram says that I think Ram is very slow in walking. Okay, so Ram is saying that I will use the same behavior, having the same attributes, even having the same values, but I don't like the way you walk. So what I'll do, I'll I'll have the same values, I'll have the same attributes, and I will have a little change in my behavior, that I will walk faster than Syam. So for that, what it will do, it will it can override this function walk with two variables. It is saying that I'm not going to change the structure of the function, but I will change the logic here. Logic I will change. So this is another aspect you must understand. In this case, we have changed the parameter. Here we have used the L1, here we have used L1 and L2. So we said this is polymorphism. Poly means many. You create one, and you don't need to create many things. But you using poly means many. Many means you create name once and you can use it many times. Polymorphism. Okay. But here the case is different. It is saying that I'm not going to create another function, but I'm going to create a little change in the logic. I'm having the same values, I'm having the same attribute with having same values, but I don't like the way you walk. I will walk fast. So it is Ram is interested in changing the logic. So in C++, there is a way to do that. So let's say we have a class of again the name of the class is human, as we have considered here. So it is saying that what I will do, I will take the class of Sham, okay, or I will take the class of human as a superclass, and I will make change in my behavior. So how it is possible that, let's say, class human, right? So it has some attribute, it has some behavior. It is saying that I will create a new class. I am not happy with the way you walk. I will create a new class called Ram, and I will extend human class, and I will change my behavior. Okay, so what it will do, it will copy this function over here. It will create a new walk function with L1 and L2. So this functionality, it means you are saying that even though I'm going to use the same behavior, but I will make some change in the logic written in the function or the behavior. So this quality of a language is called inheritance. Okay. So the another quality I should write is inheritance. Inheritance, for inheritance we use extend keyword. You always remember this one thing. Okay, so it means if what is inheritance? Inheritance means is I'm going to inherit some of your qualities and will make change according to my need. This is the actual meaning of inheritance. So it is saying that I'm going to extend human because it is a super class, and I will make a little change in the logic over here. Okay, because this is the super class, it would be having the simple walk function. So let's say the walk function would also be there here, right, with two legs, L1 and L2. But the logic here and here would be different. This is A logic, this is B logic. Even though they have the same function, it is saying that I am going to use the same attribute, I am going to use the same function, but I will use my own logic in that. I will walk faster than Shyam. I don't like that slow speed. So this quality of a language is called inheritance. Okay, let me look at the another aspect if I forgot something. We have covered inheritance as well. Okay, so if you look at this part, It is saying that I'm going to use the same attributes, the same behavior, little change in the logic. It means we are going to reuse the things mentioned in the superclass. Have you paid little attention to that? It is saying that I am going to make change in the only one or two line, and rest of the code I will copy from my superclass. Okay, so let's look at this. That the another characteristics of OOPS based language is the reusability. It will be you will be able to reuse reusability. Let me say it. So we write the reuse ability, right? So it means ability to reuse. Okay, the code we have already written that we can reuse it. Anything else? Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Okay, so let's see this thing. Okay, so although let's say Ram has two legs and Ram has some properties, right? Having the same attribute with all the human beings, but they have different values of all these attributes, right? Maybe the Ram has like me having one leg, only one head, hence let's say one hand, one head, one eye. I am having different set of values of the same attributes. Okay, but I am saying my functions, as I mentioned earlier, that the functionality or the behavior of having such quality would be very different. With one hand, the actions I am going to perform would always be different. It means the logic written in my behavioral function would always be different. So my attributes, the value of my attributes would always affect my behavior. So there should be a hidden layer for an object that it is saying that if my attributes or my behavior is dependent on my attributes, then I want them to change. Okay, I think I'm able to give you this clear picture that walking with one leg, the logic written for walking with one leg would always be dependent on having one leg. So I don't want to suddenly change it to L1 to L2 or having two legs. Okay, so what the object behavior would ask for with from the object is I want to hide this data. I don't want to be changed. I don't want to change my own data by any other function. So it is saying the object would always say to the behavior that I would always hide the data having for your behavior. It is going to, if it is going to affect your behavior, I will not reveal this data to any function without my knowledge or without my consent. So object has this property that it can hide the data. Okay, this is very important aspect of OOPS, that it says that it will encapsulate. Encapsulate means it can hide data, and the object function, the object would decide if the data will be accessible by the other objects or not. Okay, because if the object wouldn't allow to access the member functions, so whatever behavior we write in the class over here, let me find out. So whatever the behavior, these are the behavior, right? So whatever the behavior we are going to write in an object, these are called member functions or methods. Functions we do say in C++ or in Java we say the same thing as methods. Okay, so member methods or member functions would always be there, and object will always ask, okay, object will always ask the member functions or the member methods whether to give the permission to other objects to access your attributes or not. Okay, the object will always ask the member functions, Okay, the member function, it will always ask the member function to give the access to the attribute or not. So this is based on the member function, if they want to allow or not. It means, what is the meaning of this term I have just discussed, that it will allow or not? It means whatever we have written in the logic part will decide the the value will be returned to another object or not. Okay, so in an object, let's say uh, here it is. If I jump, okay, I will perform some task. Just maybe I am doing it for fun, or maybe I am doing it for a gold medal. Okay, so if I jump and if I win the game, then probably this function would return a gold medal, silver medal, or something like that. Okay, or there would be some result, but it is always dependent on the logic we have written in the jump function. Okay, so jump function or the member function would decide what to communicate to the other objects. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, let's say we have probably this lecture would be lengthy. So we have object 1, we have object 2, and we are trying to make a communication between them. So as I mentioned that without member function permission, they cannot, let's say the member function want to access the height of Ram, and the member function of object 1 want to access the height of Sham. So in both objects, the height function would be there, but it depends on the member function to choose the return type. Okay, pay little attention on this fact, that it is decided by the object or the class. It is decided by the object or the class, or whatever parameters you are going to pass, what to return. Okay, so it is always based on like these two things. You must always be aware that the member function would decide what to return. It means if object 1 is trying to access the variable in object 2, the member function would decide what to return. This is very simple things I'm trying to say. Without Ram permission, the Sham would not be able to access the height of Ram. So the encapsulation would always be there. The member function, the logic we have written in the member function would always decide what to expose to other objects in the communication. Okay, so these are the qualities of of a OOPS based language. And after all, C++ is the OOPS based language. So these are the qualities of OOPS. Or this is the need of, we have break the structure. The conceptualization is very different. How to relate things in a structural structure, it is always difficult. So when theoretically, if there is a question of what is the need of object-oriented programming, you can write down all these things, or you can also mention these things, that these are the need of a language that initiated the inventors of C++ to discover this language, which has resolved all the issues, and not just resolved all the limitations of the structural programming, but also provide a lot of other things. Like we have discussed here, there are a lot of amazing things like polymorphism, inheritance, reusability, encapsulation. So C++ is great in terms of having a real world application. So the previous structural or the procedural programming is not resonate with the real life programming. Okay, so guys, this is about today's lecture. I think you have enjoyed. As I promised that you guys don't need to remember or memorize everything. If you are going to pay enough attention on the things I'm going to discuss, so probably if you maybe I'm able to give you the clear picture, or maybe I'm able to make you understand what I wanted to convey, probably this would always be there, that you don't need to remember anything regarding this. Probably you have a look over my lectures, especially this one, and you would remember things automatically. That what is the use of all these things, like we have covered only two things, right? The characteristics of C++ and the need of object-oriented programming. But for that, we have done a lot of groundwork, right? A lot of groundwork we have done just to understand two aspects of a program. Okay, so probably it will help you not to remember everything, just be good at the fundamentals. Okay, so these are the main important things for your interview aspects as well. Whenever you are going to appear for your interviews in fourth, maybe seventh semester or in eighth semester, these things would always be around you, like what is the need of oops, what are the characteristics of C++, why you are not using C instead of C++, why you are using C++. There would be a lot of questions about all these terms. I will discuss later on. The technical aspects or the technical questions may appear in your interviews. I will discuss all those things, whatever I can discuss at this point of time. You guys are in third semester. So guys, thank you so much for today's lecture. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And in my next lecture, I think I would cover the header file and the namespace concept. I hope you would enjoy those sessions as well. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. And yeah, thank you, guys.